Are naps on the go as good of quality sleep compared to naps in the crib? That's what we're going to talk about today. Hey there, I'm Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a sleep consultant and creator of the Helping Baby Sleep Method. And today we're talking about naps on the go. How do you get out of the house? If you're home as a stay-at-home mom or on the weekend with your little one, how do you do this all? Is it okay to have some naps on the go? Let's just drill it down real quick, and the answer is yes. It is very difficult to have all your naps every single day in the crib. Is the quality of the sleep that happens in motion, is it as good as what's happening when your baby's stationary? And here's the scoop. I've combed the research and I have not been able to find anything that talks about the comparison of the sleep architecture. So the sleep architecture is the quality of that sleep, that light sleep cycle, those deep sleep cycles that are the most restorative, that compares it to motion or crib naps. So here's the way I think about it. Some sleep is better than no sleep. And you are an important person too. If you are home all day, every day for all the naps, you're going to be very isolated and frustrated and caught in the monotony of the repetition of having a little one who naps a lot. Obviously, things get easier as they get older. Those awake times, the time between when they wake up from a nap and the next nap, they tend to get longer as kids get older. You can grab our sleep summary by age chart below, which tells you what the awake windows are by age. So for example, a 5-month-old really can only stay awake about 2 hours between a nap, but then an 8-month-old that might be 3 hours, and a 12-month-old that might be closer to 4 hours. In the newborn stage, they really can't stay awake very long, and believe it or not, in those first 3 months, that's often when your baby is the most transportable, because they're not really that aware of their environment, and they will pretty much sleep anywhere. The challenge is there's a lot of feeding, you're getting used to your new role, and it can be harder to get out of the house that very first month. Let's talk about some tips that will help you get out of the house and take care of yourself while you have a little one. Here was my line. Mornings are for me, afternoons are for you. That means that I am going to get up and go to an appointment, run errands, go to a fitness class with my little one in the morning, and it may disrupt your nap. Knowing that, I will have the afternoon to be at home and make sure that you're able to capture and catch up on your sleep at that time. And this is the first challenge of naps on the go. It's number one, it's your mindset. Be careful not to get caught in all or nothing thinking. What that is extremes. I can't, go to that class because I can't miss or mess with this first morning nap. The whole day will be ruined. That is all or nothing thinking. You can maybe wake them up earlier from that morning nap so you can get to where you want to go, or you can leave the house earlier so that they can nap on the go while you get there and be waking up on the way there. Those are two tactics. In a second, I'm going to run through a few scenarios with timing to give you the specifics about this. The other thing that can be a challenge is the environment. So I often work with new parents who say, I really don't want to use blackout curtains. I really want my child to be able to sleep anywhere. Well, I'm here to tell you that how sensitive your little person is to light or dark is something that they're born with. It's not really something that you can train them into. The purpose of dark-out curtains is to minimize visual distractions. That's what great sleep is about for adults and really all humans. The purpose of darkening the room is to minimize visual distractions that could interrupt them during a nap time. It helps. And the reality is, your little one's going to be napping in their nursery probably for at least 75% of their naps. So don't you want to create the most optimal environment for that 75% compared to that 25%? I like sleep out curtains. You can see the link below. They have travel and permanent options. You will not have these dark out curtains then when you are on the go. Does that mean that your child won't be able to sleep? No. It may mean though that the nap will be short and it depends on their age. So after 4 or 5 months, kids are so much more aware of their surroundings. So they may go through one sleep cycle, let's say it's in your stroller, and wake up and say, oh, hey, I'm in the grocery store, and start looking around. This is a different environment for me. I'm distracted. Having a light cloth over or the canopy over the stroller can be helpful. Just be careful about the temperature because it does get hot in there with the lack of ventilation. But that can be a tool that you can use to minimize visual distraction. Another tool could be portable white noise that helps block out the sounds of the environment that they're in. You can check out my blog post about white noise, the use and misuse of white noise as well for some further education on why I like that sometimes, but not necessarily always or all night long. So let's talk about timing. How are you going to anticipate your little one's needs that day? So in the Helping Babies Sleep Method, our best-selling book on Amazon, we teach you kind of a flexible schedule, how to predict out what your little one's needs will be each day. Because sample schedules are great and fixed schedules can be helpful, but that they rely on the idea that that nap is going to be the exact same length every single day, and that's not always true. So we want you to have the tools to know how to manage things and make adjustments. So let's go through a scenario here. Let's suppose you have a 4-month-old and you want to attend a 10:30 a.m. outdoor fitness class. How are we going to make this work? Well, let's anticipate the needs. So if we look at the schedule, they'll probably wake up around 6:30 in the morning. And then that awake window is usually the shorter one of the day. So they might be ready to sleep an hour and a half later, which puts that to 8 o'clock a.m. This nap, it may be an hour. In the 3rd month, this nap tended to be the longer nap, but now you might be noticing that it's shortening up. So let's say they're awake at 9 a.m. Want to be sleeping again in an hour and 45 minutes. That puts it at 10:45. And your class is supposed to start at 10:30. Will this work? This can totally work. This is almost an ideal situation. So you would go and get to the location early. You would have your feed, probably somewhere around 4 hours, 3.5 hours from when they ate last. Be awake. You could put them in the stroller. You could start walking them because the motion can help lubricate sleep. So you might not have to wait for that full hour and 45 minutes to elapse to have them fall asleep. If it was the crib, you probably have to wait closer to that hour and 45 minutes if you're not helping or assisting with rocking, feeding, or motion per se. That works perfectly. It's anxiety provoking, perhaps. You also have to go into it with the mindset of, if this doesn't work out, that's okay. And you'll just have a contact nap, or maybe you'll miss part of your exercise class. Some fitness is still better than no fitness, and some sleep is still better than no sleep. So avoid that all or nothing thinking that can happen. Let's roll in to scenario 2. In this scenario, you have a doctor's appointment at 9 a.m. for your 3-month-old. So this schedule might look like this. 6:30 a.m., you might have a wake up and feed. And then the awake time here is going to be shorter. First window of the day is always shorter. Might be an hour and 10 minutes. So they might be ready to sleep again around 7:40. And this nap is going to be the longer one, an hour to an hour and a half. They might wake up around 9 a.m. So in this scenario, that's right when you want them to be at the doctor's office. So you might have to wake them up early from this nap, maybe 8:30, depending on the distance, to get them there on time. They might not like it very much, but you got to do what you got to do. And you have the whole rest of the day to catch up on any missing sleep that you avoided because you had to wake them up. Then you actually put them down to sleep in their car seat at 7:40 a.m. Maybe you rock it a little bit to help facilitate sleep. We would do this because then we can just transfer this car seat into the car and keep them sleeping. So when we arrive at 9 a.m. at the doctor's office, they're ready to be waking up. Another option would be that you just put them in the car really early and go for a long drive, find that Starbucks drive-through, pick up a coffee, and you have the whole nap on the go that morning. And our third and final scenario would be that your nap time and your appointment time are at exactly the same time. This definitely happens. Imagine that their doctor's appointment was actually at 8 o'clock, right when it's nap time. What can you do? Well, it could be that they actually fall asleep on the way there and have a micro nap of like 10 minutes. They will be fussy and cranky when they get there, but what can you do? It may be that you don't make it through the entire doctor's appointment. Depending on their age, they may fall asleep in your arms. You might have a contact nap while you're in the waiting room. That's okay. Or for older babies, usually the environment keeps them awake. Where am I? What's going on? And they don't fall asleep. But you get them in the car to leave, and now they're very overtired because they've been awake since 6:30, and they fall asleep instantly in that car seat because it's contained and the motion is lubricating. Kids older than four-ish months, they often have trouble transferring out of the car seat into the crib. So what you might do then is just make sure you stay in motion for 45 minutes to get one sleep cycle in, because that could be your short nap of the day. But that's okay, because again, you have the rest of the day to recoup those any lost sleep. So that's the final tip, is appointments. Try and do them mid or late morning, because you have the rest of the day to recoup. And also, in general, people are in better moods at the beginning of the day, including you and your little one. Now, if you have a little person that will only sleep on the go, you have a different set of problems altogether. You have a sleep association where a child associates falling asleep with being in motion. And that might be in your arms, it might be in the car seat or a stroller. I think we've all had a friend at one point who had to drive their little one around in the night to get them to sleep. What can you do? Well, that's where sleep teaching comes into play. That's what we teach in our book. Sleep teaching, some people call it sleep training, but I really don't like that term because we're not training dogs. We're teaching kids a skill. That's what it's all about. Think about yourselves. If I said to you tonight, you can't fall asleep in your favorite position and I'm going to take away your pillow, that'd be really uncomfortable for you. You would toss and turn, but you would learn a new way of falling asleep eventually. And that's what our little people have to go through. However, in the Helping Babies Sleep method, sleep training, what you might be thinking about, is only the fifth pillar. The first one is really understanding that sleep is a learned habit. The second one is timing of sleep. So grab that sleep summary by age chart to figure out when the ideal time for naps is. The third pillar is an intentional feeding. Because if your baby's snacking at you all through the day, they will continue to snack and not take full feeds all through the night. It's hard to get out of that. You don't want to start sleep training until you've got that under control and shifted some of those calories from the night into the daytime. The fourth pillar is consistency in messaging. So the bedtime routines, nap time routines, what's the purpose of them? One, it's cueing your little one that sleep is coming, but it's also preparing them to ease the separation away from you. And then the fifth pillar is what people really think about, is if I'm going to change the way my little one falls asleep, what they associate with sleep, how do I offer comfort to the tears of frustration that will come when they are tired and wanting to suck on that pacifier, that breast, that bottle, be rocked, sleep on me, whatnot? How do I offer comfort to the tears? And we give you best and worst case scenarios in the book. It's on Amazon, The Helping Babies Sleep Method, the art and science of teaching your little one to sleep, because it is both. So we go through affirmations and the art part, and we also talk about the evidence that's in there as well. If you like this video, don't forget to click subscribe and never miss another baby sleep tip.